Hello and welcome to a Path of Exile 2 video. I've been playing Monk, Chayula Monk, and I figured I should at least record me wrapping up the campaign and then show some of the boss DPS and wrap up everything in pretty pink bow. I haven't done this boss on this difficulty, so it's possible that I get one-shotted. I feel very weak whenever I do this zone, like the end of Act 1 and... Sorry, not Act 1. Act 2 and Act 3. The mobs just make you feel really weak. So if you walk over them, they start zapping. Or do they start zapping because he spawned?
I will succeed. There is no escape.
I know that is a big slam. Not entirely certain if the back boom is safe.
I cannot allow him to interfere. The destruction at Atsuater will be repaid 1,000-fold. Existence is unexpected, but not critical. You think you can run? You leave me no choice.
I forget, are you supposed to stay outside or inside?
This is not over yet.
What is this? I don't think I saw this mechanic on the first time I did this. Oh, there's a laser.
No escape. You think you can stand in my way? Burn to ash, demon of Atsuaku. You think you can run? Existence is merely energy. The destruction of Atsuater will be repaid 1,000-fold. No!
That wasn't hard
Not fail me.
at all.
Not now.
Saw more mechanics because I had less DPS than the first time I did this. Or he just has way more HP.
All I've done.
So yeah,
Sacrifice.
spoiler alert, but end of campaign. Basically, the Tempest Flurry is my main DPS skill, Charging Storm is my main clear skill, Storm Wave lets me apply shocks from a distance, Siphoning Strike lets me consume shocks to gain power charges, and then Charge Staff enables high, the higher DPS for the supports and everything. How I have it set up is Storm Wave, Conduction, Long Shot, Coursing Current. So basically, like, if it shocks, it basically applies shock to like the entire pack. Charge Staff, more duration, chance to not consume, and then Innervate, because this is a very melee playstyle, so the like projectiles that it fires out, if it even is a projectile, no, it's just an AoE. It basically can kill mobs like white trash mob, and then it'll boost up your total damage of both the skills interacting with each other. Mantra Destruction, this is like 100% mandatory. I put Calling Strike, and skills empowered by supported skills deal 15% more damage. So just while doing bosses, granted you're not killing anything, you still gain 35% of damage as Chaos at level 14 here for 8 seconds. And then it also gives you 15% more damage. Tempest Spell linked with Withering Touch and Font of Rage. These are just supportive to give you even more damage. Herald of Thunder, Tempest Flurry linked with Lightning Infusion, Crescendo, and Martial Tempo. So even though it doesn't really do a lot of damage itself, with everything interacting and how fast it hits, that's where a lot of the damage comes from. And then Gathering Storm, this skill is like a huge nuke. It's a very interesting and different playstyle. If you ever used Lightning Tiger Strike from Lost Ark, this is literally just Lightning Tiger Strike. It even hits behind you. So that's like the uncharged, that's the charged, and it leaves behind shocked ground, which I can then use Siphoning Strike on any mob that's standing in it. Granted, Siphoning Strike will knock back some of the mobs, so sometimes it works really, really well, other times it does not. I wish the shocked ground, like, kinda spread out a little bit. Like, if it drops in, like, a single line, and then it goes, like, side to side, that'd be really, really cool, because then it just makes, like, a huge shocked ground. And then Siphoning Strike linked with Profusion, Execute, so it deals more damage to low life enemies, and Concentrated Effect, even more damage. This is basically like a nice execute, especially against like white mobs. If like if I'm just swinging my golf club, this doesn't really do too terribly much DPS, but it'll get them low, and then Siphoning Strike will finish them off. Like, it does a lot of like upfront damage, so it's been pretty reliable playstyle for me. There's like definitely things that I'm considering changing around on my passive tree. Currently I am going for Struck Through on the passive tree, and then I might go for Coming Calamity because you can get some reservation stuff, and then maybe I can fit in more spirit related things. And then Bestial Skin, I'm probably gonna go for that. Don't think I'm gonna go for like enhanced reflexes, but I definitely think I'm gonna go for Bestial Skin and then drop Mindful Awareness entirely from the tree, and then I may also drop Interfaith, but I really like the reduced effect of curses, because like the Temp Change curse, for example, without this it feels like incredibly punishing, but with this it feels slightly less punishing, and you can actually like get out of it relatively easily. And then there's a lot of crit stuff that's all up at the top of the tree. I really want to get this entire lightning cluster, and if I spec this lightning cluster, it doesn't give shock chance, but it does give damage pen. I can probably respec this. If I can respec this, then I might as well just respec a lot of this stuff here, and I might result into me coming up this way. Not entirely certain. Getting Spaghettification is nice, but it's so many points. I definitely want to get Lingering Horror, because a lot of this stuff is like skill effect duration related. Like Mantra of Flames is skill effect duration. Tempest Bell isn't. The Gathering Storm, I believe what is it called? The Shocked Ground. Yeah, that is 6 seconds by default, so this would increase the shock ground, allowing you even more time to use Siphoning Strike or anything else without feeling extremely punished. So Lingering Horror sounds really, really good for Mantra of Flame, the Lingering Shock, the Uptime on Charge Staff. All of it sounds really, really, really good in conjunction with the Chaos damage there. And then crit, take this staff node. Quarterstaff skills that consume power charges count as consuming an additional power charge. That's great for the charge staff, and then it has crit chance on the minor nodes. This also gives you a ton of dex, so I might be able to... I've basically just been hopping back and forth between dex int, dex int, dex int, dex int. I don't have any strength on my tree. My amulet provides me all the strength that I need. This was like a item in the vendor. It had the life and the attributes, and I regold crit chance on it. So I was like, you know what? Perfect. Pretty insane. Some of my gear is still like really, really low level, and this is literally the end of the campaign. This was a vendor offer, and it costs less gold than the gambler would for a belt at my level, and for whatever reason it's item level 64, but it requires level 35, so I'm probably just going to end up saving this one and using it on any future characters while leveling. I've saved some pieces of gear because it's like very clearly potent for a second playthrough. This is my staff here. I don't have any other blacksmith whetstones, else I would be clicking them on it. and I exalted the accuracy. This was a item that was offered by the vendor, and it had the percent increase fizz and the +1 level of all melee skills. I regaled the flat fizz, and then I exalted the other two mods onto it. I was really hoping for something more, but whatever. And I kind of don't want to use exalted orbs on it, even though it's going to be a prefix. Just because I want to exalt slam like some of my gear so I can get higher res and stuff. A lot of this stuff was alt regal crafted. Like this was alt regal crafted. This was alt regal. That was alt regal. This was alt regal, and I slammed stun on it. I figured, you know what? It has open prefix. It could hit life. It has open suffix. It could hit another res, or like maybe item rarity or something. This was also alt regal crafted. And then this was just a random item that I picked up off the floor. Happened to have like some decent stats on it. So yeah, that's basically the entire build and discussion about like the playstyle and everything. The damage is okay. It really spikes and ramps depending on like when you get gem upgrades and stuff. Like the beginning of certain acts can be very, very brutal, and the end of certain acts can be very, very brutal. One thing that I want to make note on of areas where I realize that, because up until end of Act 2, I was strictly melee. And these two zones, they almost made me like rage quit. But instead of rage quitting, I just went to like random streamers, and Zizarin happened to be like on his way here. I literally saw that like he just finished the quest that I had just finished, and I was like, oh, he's gonna go to it, and he had just died. So I was like, yeah, he's definitely gonna die there. His damage was much higher than mine at the time, but granted, I was doing the zone with a level 14 weapon, and yeah, but it's just not good. But like the bases that were dropping, just they weren't hitting rolls that were like usable for me. Like it would hit like one good roll, but like the other rolls were just not usable. And then additionally, you'd have to like socket them, you'd have to put runes in them, and at this point in time in my playthrough, I just could not get enough like socketing currency, rune currency, all that kind of stuff in order to like make it feel plausible to like have a good weapon. So I really struggled. I ended up hitting level 37, just like farming the zones, resetting them. In case you were unaware, you can also control click. I'm not at a place to teleport, so I can't. But yeah, that's kind of a hard zone. And in that zone, I discovered that Storm Wave was like required, because another streamer that I was watching, he was just using like AoE attacks, and I was like, wait a minute. I didn't use the AoE attacks because like there were a lot of zones at the time, like the foresty stuff, the pumpkin patch, whatnot, where like you would get mobs coming from like different areas, and you'd like hit this, and like imagine these three or mobs, you wouldn't hit any of them, so you'd have to like do this, kill that mob, do that, kill that mob, all while kiting, and then you'd be like completely out of mana, all this other stuff. So I was just like, you know what, just go melee, they'll stack up on you, you drop the bell, and it'll be fine. And that's what I ended up doing for a very long time, because truthfully it was working. There were some zones that were like really punishing, especially like the Titan Grotto, where like you just get pushed around a lot. You have to have ranged abilities for certain fights. So that's why I'm using Gathering Storm and Storm Wave. Honestly, if I didn't need to have those skills, I just wouldn't use them. The other thing is like the Tempest Bell, it body blocks you, and so do like NPCs. So when doing the Act 2 in this zone, placing the Tempest Spell felt really bad, especially in the like tight little bridge areas, and having to like be melee on the Tempest Spell in order to like really maximize the DPS just felt like shit. Also, this is bugged. I'm like 99% certain that I already cleared this, and I went back and like I re-cleared it, and then for whatever reason it shows up again as like highlighted. They're supposed to be grayed out if you complete them. Let me go to Cruel Act 2. What does it say for that zone here? Yeah, it's grayed out on this one. So I don't know. Make a legend yourself. Wait, are you supposed to get a res from it? Huh? I don't know. I'll figure it out later. But yeah, that's pretty much my initial thoughts on the campaign. In summary, bosses are a lot easier than just like getting zerged down by like white trash mobs. That's like a truthful, honest opinion. It just factually is. I don't understand why white mobs are doing way more damage than most bosses. Like, it just doesn't make sense. When you have like 15 mobs that all like group up on you, and then you have to be like melee, or you have like abilities that like interact with terrain and stuff, it just ends up not feeling good. I don't know if the staff playstyle for Monk is really up my alley. I do like how like the comboing works. I just don't like the way that any of the skills play. Like the executing strike abilities, the killing palm and whatnot. Sometimes if you're kiting backwards, like let's say I'm kiting backwards and that's a mob. I'm kiting backwards and it's a mob. I go to hit it, but then there's another mob in front of it. 9 times out of 10, you can like you'll go around the mob. But if there's like 5 mobs in front of it, you're not killing it. And if you like you need power charges to like make your Falling Thunder, I think is what it's called. It's basically just like a ground slam-esque ability, like Volcanic Fissure. Is it Volcanic Fissure that does like the snaking, cracking on the ground? I think it is in PoE. But yeah, basically it's just not an enjoyable play style. For like Killing Palm, I genuinely think that it needs to be a ranged ability. So I know in the trailer we saw the endgame breach boss dropping like a hand down on enemies. Why can't it just be that? Like, why does it need to be like, if there's any mobs in your way, you literally cannot use the ability whatsoever. You have to kill the things that moved into your path instead of killing the thing that you were initially fighting. Because when you're fighting things and you have all these abilities that like push you around and stuff, you get lost in some of the packs sometimes. And then after that, you're the flow of the quote unquote combo based class just is gonna fall apart entirely, especially when mobs have a much larger leash range than what I can visually see on my map. So I'm on an ultra wide, but I have used, for example, imagine there's like mobs standing up there and I want to go this way to fight a pack. If I use this ability, it pushes me backwards, then mobs start aggroing me, and some of them they like fly in, they crash in, etc. And then I'm fighting a rare mob now, and then all of a sudden, like 6-8 other mobs come around, and you just get demolished, or you get stuck in terrain. Like, imagine... There's no terrain here. But imagine, like, this is a corner, and, like, I did the same thing, but I went this way. And then all the mobs come in, they crash behind me. I have the rare up against the wall. I can't use it right now, but I have my Tempest spell up on the rare, up against the wall, and I just start smacking them. I can't go this way because I'm body blocked by whatever terrain is over here. I can't go this way because I'm body blocked, and now I'm just locked in. But I'm trying to kill the rare because the rare is the most deadly thing, but the white mobs are hitting me for like 20, 30, 40% of my life. Like, that's just not fun engaging combat at all. Like, it just isn't. I don't know what I'm supposed to do in situations like that other than A, log out, or B, accept death. Like, I just don't get it. Like, how is mobbing in this game 10 times more punishing than bossing? Like, it genuinely is. Like, all the pushing mechanics, all the, like, mob aggro, like, that zone in Act 2 that I've spent a lot of time discussing, there's more mobs in this zone than most white maps in PoE 1. there are more mobs in these two zones than all of the white maps that I've ever completed in Path of Exile, and I've been playing Path of Exile for over 10 years at this point, between two accounts. This account was created in 2015, and I played before them all the way back in 2013. So how have I never seen a white map on a fresh league start as dense as any of these fucking zones is beyond me. Just beyond me. It's like, you guys, I understand that it's Path of Exile 2, but it's like you didn't like consider the fact that like there's more mobs in these zones than there are mobs in white maps. Like that is just a that's just crazy. So like I guess PoE 1 campaign has like a mob density issue of like there's just no mobs, because like there would never be a zone anywhere near this density in Path of Exile 1. There's not even white maps anywhere near this density in Path of Exile 1 until you like put league mechanics in it. So yeah, just the mob count needs to go down. I'm sure that they have a way. Actually, what is the command remaining? Yeah, I wonder if they have a way to test internally how many mobs are placed on a certain zone, because I genuinely think that the average instance for either one of these is like close to, if not 1,000. Like it genuinely feels that way. Especially on some of like my second playthrough, I had a much better like I guess seed for the second one, because it was just really short for whatever reason in comparison to the other one that I did. The other one that I did, I felt like it was like maybe like 10 to 15 more packs. I don't know. Maybe I'm cooked. Maybe this is just a me problem, but I saw other people struggling with the area. I know it's a big area of concern for a lot of people. I'm going to be doing an entire video about issues, bugs that I encountered, all sorts of stuff, because I did have bugs that literally like destroyed quest progression and I had to redo it. The quest for the Titan zone, where you get this thing, it tells you to kill mobs in Titan zone in order to get the item. It doesn't tell you where the item drops. So that's a problem that needs to get fixed. The other zone that I had issues with was this one. No, was it this one? No, it wasn't this one. It was the... No. It was this one. It was to get into this zone. You need to, like, pick up a soul core and then give it to the NPC. I'm not going to say the NPC's name, just for, like, potential spoilers. And then they're supposed to move out of the way, but if you talk to an NPC while they're, like, still playing their animations, it disrupts them and they don't finish their animations. So the NPC was supposed to finish the animation and walk away, but instead, because I accidentally clicked on them, it caused them to stop in front of the altar, and then you can't place anything in the altar because the NPC is basically body blocking it. It allows you to walk up, you can click the altar, you can drop the item, pick it up again, etc., and it just doesn't do anything for you. Oh, and real quick before the end of the video, if you are having issues through the campaign and you're like in Act 3 specifically, you need to go to all the different like camps, talk to the vendors. The vendors will give you heavily discounted items in Act 3. It's pretty insane. I've gotten some really good items that way. You can also get items with sockets for like less than 1,000 gold, like really cheap. Even in Act 3 Cruel, it's like 50% cheaper than the alternative method. I don't know why that's lighting up. I'm fairly certain that those two are connected, or maybe because I haven't turned it in. I don't think I've turned it in. I don't know. Anyways, that's it for this video. Build, general opinions, etc. Game's beautiful. Just a lot of quality of life and a lot of fixing needed for certain things, especially desync. Desync has been a huge problem for me. That's it for this one. I'll do some follow-up videos about the monk. If I hit any hard walls, then I'll just admit that it's bricked, I can't fix it type of stuff. But yeah, that's it for this. See ya. Peace.